Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with First Alert Weather Day coverage.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, of course, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and the senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. It is a First Alert Weather Day here on the brand new first day of the work week. Very rainy overnight. Is that going to persist throughout the day, though?
The morning round is pretty much done. We're just going to have some lingering spotty showers. Then all the focus turns to the next round that comes after 4 o'clock. And you may be thinking, it's kind of gray and gloomy, or how are we going to fire off new storms? Well, I'll explain to you how it's going to work here, because we have a first alert day as this morning round is moving out and pretty much done with. The next round of stronger storms would be after 4 o'clock. Hail, wind, and tornadoes possible from any of those. And just know after 4, there's more and more on the map. Doesn't mean we all get a storm right at 4 right off the bat. But that's the earliest we could see some, and then we'll just have more and more fill up the map as we go through the course of the evening. We got state baseball, state softball, state soccer. Hopefully we can squeeze in as much as we can today between the weather, but at least we're starting off okay. You can see out across the area now we're at 61, starting to warm a little bit, dew point of 57. Both of these numbers will go up. Things pretty quiet across the metro, maybe a couple sprinkles. The last little batch of thunderstorms has been moving off towards the northeast and out of here, so that's pretty much done. And now we're just kind of waiting and watching here for this to take shape. After 4 o'clock, this 2 out of 5 in our area, and here during the 7 o'clock hour, I think we're going to get an update to this. We usually do anyway. And notice there's an area of 3 out of 5 on the scale here. So 1 through 5 is the scale. We got a 3, meaning scattered severe thunderstorms, looking very likely from Nebraska City, Auburn on south. A little less likely the farther north you go, but still very much in play. Large hail, strong wind, and a few tornadoes possible after 4 o'clock. As this batch moves out, and you can see down here, we don't have much going on. That is where our energy will build, and then the storm system pushes it into our area and will feed new storms that'll try to get going after 4 o'clock. Look by here during the 7 o'clock hour. That's where the energy's building. As we go through 9 and 10, there's more of it. You got the deeper, darker colors here. You get up into the reds, you get high amount of thunderstorm energy here. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon towards 4, it just pools right over eastern Nebraska, and that's where it'll fire storms and then move east. And they'll continue, even though we lose some of the energy, they're still going to be there and likely have some intensity with them. So by 9 o'clock, this is the way the map may look, perhaps a little overdone on the spotty light showers. Same story by noon. Some high clouds moving through, but I still think we'll be able to warm. Notice it's warmer to the southwest. That's where the energy builds. By 4 o'clock, some places getting close to 80 degrees, and it will be humid today. You're going to feel that as opposed to the weekend. By 4, a couple of storms near Norfolk, and watch what happens. By 5, a couple there, a couple to the southeast. Watch how the map really fills in. 5 to 6 to 7. There you go. Pretty active by 7 o'clock with thunderstorm clusters that could easily produce large hail. That's probably the main threat. Gusty wind over 60 miles per hour, and a tornado or two very much in play today, given the way the atmosphere is set up. By 8 o'clock, we still have some on the map, perhaps a few new developing back to the west here. And then as we go deeper into the evening, still some out there by the 10 o'clock hour, still some by midnight, and they just keep on marching east then during the overnight hours, and cooler air settles in. We have 50s on the way to start tomorrow, and they likely don't go anywhere. Rainfall potential. Hopefully we can get some 1 to 2 inch rain totals. That's what the blues and the purples are showing us here. That would be the good side of this. We need this everywhere. It'd be awesome to get that much rain, avoid as much severe weather as possible. And you can see hail probably the greatest threat, but tornadoes and wind very much in play today, and we'll watch that develop. With the winds, it'll be noteworthy out of the southeast, gusting 35 to 40 miles per hour. So those are going to be a bit on the breezy side today. We'll notice the wind tomorrow and again on Wednesday, but that's some cooler air. You might see some apps, maybe the one on your phone, say high in the 60s on Tuesday. That happens at midnight tonight.
Oh,
you won't get a chance to enjoy it. It's 50s all day. So that's the way Tuesday's looking, kind of.
Thought we were done with those.
No, I thought I came in today. I was like, whoa, hey, that trended colder.
Heck yeah. We should mention the NSAA has also moved up some of the state soccer games And you agree with that?
Anything you can get in before 4 o'clock is the best bet today.
All right. Well, what's also top of mind, it is Memorial Day weekend coming up. People have some plans. Is the weather going to cooperate for that, we're wondering?
Well, you see the cool air that's right there.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get your boat weather, your pool weather this upcoming weekend. Definitely not happening tomorrow. 58, like I mentioned here, with some spotty showers left over through the day, just kind of parked in the 50s. But look at this 10-day forecast. We get up into the 60s by the end of the week. Some storm chances there, and you're going to see a lot of storm chances Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Just know this is not an all-weekend washout, but there's a chance of rain each day that we have to watch for. I think there's still going to be plenty of good time each day, but you notice, just not perfect sunshine, the hot weather you'd like, temperatures getting up near 80 degrees, and enjoying the sunshine. There's going to be sunshine. I just think there's a chance of storms each day to go with it.
And it's not really pool temperatures either.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a little bit for that. You're going to have to wait just a little bit.
Okay.
Because what people usually say, it marks the unofficial start of summer sometimes, but
all the pools open up around town. It's usually Memorial Day to Labor Day, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Have to wait a
A
little
lot
bit.
of summer left to be had.
Indeed. Okay, in the meantime, kind of back to the more slick conditions that we've been talking about this morning. Roads could be
keeping an eye on it, because we had that rain overnight, and that's gotten a lot lighter at this point. But just the fact that we even have wet roads is something that we have to keep in mind as we're heading out and about. I've seen a lot of these kind of mornings where you start heading into some of those interchanges, the curves, the ramps, and people get a little overconfident on how quick they can drive through those, and it results in all kinds of issues. So far, thankfully, we've been doing okay. It's actually starting off here right near Giles on I-80, and this is actually moving along pretty well. One of our better mornings in regards to that. A couple of other areas are running slow. That includes as you get near Lewis Central High, Council Bluffs. We've got some delays that are showing up. Harry Langdon, as well as Highway 92. So that's an area that is slow. Across the 480 bridge, going from Council Bluffs over into Omaha, westbound particularly, we have those delays usually as we get toward this point in the morning. And then it becomes about the interchanges. We've had some delays that have been showing up on L right around I-80. Not too bad at the moment, but those are the sort of things that you need to keep top of mind. I-80, 680, I-80 and 480, Dodge and 680. Those are all interchanges that have issues on these kind of mornings with some spin outs possible with the wet roads that could be in play. So I'll be watching for any of that. We are picking up the traffic. You can see that by looking at Dodge and Maple, where we just kind of have those specks of yellow. That's an indication of people who are hitting the road and maybe using a little extra caution. So it's actually kind of encouraging that I'm seeing that. Maybe that will limit some issues that we may end up having. That on I-80 you're seeing there eastbound, that's the construction zone as you're heading in that direction toward Giles. So that's what that's all about. So no big issues at the moment, but just things to consider as you're heading out the door, that it's something that you have to kind of be annoyed by as you're starting off your day.
What better way to start a Monday, right?
Yeah. Headlights. Turn those headlights on with some of those pockets of drizzle.
More good advice. All right, Jarrett, thank you. Well, some breaking news this morning. One person is in the hospital following a crash overnight. Officers were called to the area of 38th and Maple. This happened just before midnight. We are told the person's injuries are not considered life-threatening, and it wasn't immediately clear what led to the crash.
Also breaking overnight, crews are called to a trailer fire near 130th and Maple around 9:30 last night. According to our reporter who was at the scene, early reports indicate the trailer was struck by lightning. And the good news is no injuries to report. Stay with First Alert 6, though, as we update you on air and online on both of these breaking situations.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Here at the safety desk with Maria. It doesn't feel like it, but summer will be here.
Yes.
The summer feel, temperature, all the sun will be out before we know it. And it's a good time to remind everybody we have to protect our skin, Maria.
I know, it's our largest organ on our body, so it's very important to keep it safe. Some things that we don't always think about, but are definitely important to do. So experts say protecting your skin from the sun's rays, it's critical. The first line of defense is sunscreen. Now, doctors say the SPF level doesn't matter as much as how you actually apply it. They say you should put it on your skin about 15 minutes before you go outdoors, just so it has enough time to soak in and everything. Make sure that you reapply that sunscreen every 2 hours or more. You know, you can never have too much when you do things like get in the water, sweat, or if you're wiping yourself off with a towel. You also want to cover your skin with clothing whenever you can. And if you're heading to the beach or maybe going to the lake for the summer, make sure you put on extra layers of sunscreen.
Just slather it on, right? You can never be too careful.
It's true.
All right. Good reminders as we approach the summer. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Time now 7:14 on this Monday morning. Taking a live look outside, overlooking the Midtown and the downtown areas of Omaha. You know, I've heard the thunder was really, really loud last night. I was just out,
Good
I
for
guess.
Love that.
Were you? Did you hear it?
Oh, yeah. It woke me up way more than I cared to.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people say the same kind of thing. So, of course, that was this story overnight. A little bit of rain also this morning.
Yeah.
Is that going to continue for the day?
Thankfully, no. It's not going to be an all-day rain event. We are seeing that really move off to the northeast, and that's kind of basically making way for what's on the way later on after 4 o'clock today. Large hail, strong wind, and a few tornadoes possible in this risk area. Notice how it gradually, everything just kind of increases in intensity on the farther south you go. In our viewing area. The storm should go from west to east through, but the southern ones likely have a little bit more energy to work with. So right now, the last little bit of those thunder showers are moving off towards the northeast and, well, in and around the metro, not too much happening. Haven't had a chance to look at rain totals, been looking ahead to the severe threat, but we'll post some of those on Facebook and Twitter here coming up in a little bit. Overall, things have quieted down quite a bit. And you'll notice, though, the thicker clouds and the thunder showers, they're moving out. Still got a few little pockets of some shower activity, but we're going to be watching right down here. That's where the development of the energy for our storms will get going and then move in. It's not going to be something that develops over us. It likely fills in here and then moves in our direction and fires off new storms. So there's going to be a lot to talk about here with this. And you can see how it's already starting to do that here, 7, 8 o'clock. And notice how this is the thunderstorm energy forecast. And those fill up eastern Nebraska and eastern Kansas as we go into the afternoon. And that'll be the fuel that thunderstorms will use by 4 o'clock. And it'll take that and fire off new storms that really get going after 4. And notice how they increase in coverage as we go deeper into the evening. Better and better odds of thunderstorms in the area, and better odds that they'll be severe as well the later we go into the evening. So there's 3 o'clock. Here's 4. Not much happening. Storms in our southeastern counties. 5 to 6 to 7. Watch how the map just fills in. Those could be some really intense storms in the southern counties here with some hail and some tornado potential. Yes, wind from all of these as well. Another little line developing up here. All kind of meets up, and this could take off a little bit. These move to the east. You can see the map may be kind of a mess later on this evening. That's why the earlier you can get in those high school state tournament games between softball, soccer, and baseball, the better. I think the later you go, the better the storm chance after 4 o'clock, and still some of those around into the evening and overnight. And then things quiet down heading into the early morning hours of Tuesday. But tornado threat, 2 out of 5. Wind to 2 out of 5. I think this hail, 3 out of 5 on the scale. Best odds are probably with the hail to be the largest and the most threatening from this system. But you can see the wind out of the southeast today. That'll gust 30 to 40 miles per hour before we get any storms. And you'll notice here, not a lot of dry days. You got a small chance of a shower there Wednesday and could have some more there heading into Friday as well, late Friday with some thunderstorm potential towards the end of the week.
Yeah, and I hope people haven't put away their jackets yet, because as we saw, those temperatures are really going to drop tomorrow.
I tell you what, we haven't talked much about Tuesday because today is going to be so busy, but look at what we have here. 58 for the high on Tuesday. Now, the generic app on your phone and the random ones you may have downloaded could show highs in the 60s. Well, that's a little after midnight tonight. You won't ever get to enjoy that, really. We're going to have temperatures parked in the 50s all day on Tuesday with spotty showers, especially in the morning hours. Could have a few more in the afternoon, but overall, the clouds locked in. It is going to be chilly. That wind will make it even cooler. And here's your wind gust forecast for Tuesday. That is out of the west, northwest, could hit 25 to 30 pretty easily. Wouldn't be surprised to get some 35 mile per hour gusts. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. Big differences and no real heat or humidity to be found in that 10-day forecast. We talked about the Memorial weekend here a little bit ago. Yeah, a lot of 70s the way it looks and some thunderstorm chances. We're not washing out the whole weekend, but you got to pay attention if you got outdoor stuff.
All right, Rusty, thank you. In the meantime, back to traffic. Just as we were talking about the roads being slick today, you have a new crash to talk about.
Yeah, we're at 96th and Giles is where we're talking about this crash that has come in. So let's take a look at the impacted area with this. Notice it's particularly heading north and south on 96th, where you have the delays showing up. So be careful as you head into this. Give any emergency crews that may be on hand for this one some room to work. That's our first crash that has shown up so far this morning. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye out for any other ones that may pop up. Because of those wet roads being present, it's the kind of morning that you just want to ease up, take a little extra caution with you out the door. There's the possibility that you run into issues, any of those curves, the ramps, any interchanges. That's where you could have some of that being something to expect. There's still going to be some drizzle around, even if we're not seeing as heavy a rain as what we had overnight. You still want to make sure you're cognizant that that's something that you may run into. You need play with the wiper some, and mainly watch for those wet roads that are going to be in place. Still some delays as you're heading westbound over 480 Bridge from Council Bluffs into Omaha. You've got some delays right near Lewis Central, about Highway 92 and Harry Langdon, and then entering that construction zone eastbound on I-80 approaching Giles. Many other spots are doing pretty well, but watch out for 96th and Giles. And again, we'll be keeping an eye out for anything else. This is the kind of morning where those things can happen, and then it kind of dominoes into bigger issues pretty quickly on us. So I'll be watching that closely and give you the first alert through the morning.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, still ahead this morning, we get ready to cheer on a Lincoln native in the finale of The Boys.
That's right. Plus, a film based off a book, One Nebraskan Road. The award the movie is now nominated for, and how you can put your vote in when we come back. Well, happening tonight, the final 5 on The Voice will perform live for a part 1 of a 2-night finale.
Yeah, this is for all the marbles. One of the finalists, Lincoln's very own Jaden Cree. It all gets underway at 7 tonight right here on First Alert 6. She's been a dark horse all season long. She sings the right song. She could make her way.
She could take it.
She could be it. Yes.
It's in her blood too, with her dad and everything.
That's
so
right.
Exciting.
He's been there all on the way cheering her on. Well, you may remember the heartwarming story of the Unbreakable Boy.
That's right. The movie based on the life of a Metro family was praised all around the nation. Now, this is up for an award. The Unbreakable Boy is nominated for the Film Impact Award at this year's K-Love Fan Awards. The movie, of course, is based on the Lorette family.
There's some really big movies that are up for it, and they're all with stars, you know, their stories, things like that. So we're kind of like the little guy. So we need all the help in the world.
A little engine that could.
Yeah.
The main thing I'm excited about is not just our movie winning, but hopefully I get to meet Jelly Roll.
I'd be excited about that.
These are the fan awards, so you can help out as a fan. Now to vote, you just head over to KaylaFanAwards.com. They're such a great family, right, Maria?
They are. They're the best. It was so nice to have them here in the studio too, because all this video is from the premiere that happened back in January. So to get to speak with them again, and I know, Aaron, you talked to them a little bit on Friday too, and you of course did the very first story on the family. So it's great that we're able to, continue to follow up on this, and it's awesome to hear that they're still getting so much love for the movie, because it was really, really amazing.
Yeah.
And vote. Remember to vote. Right?
Yeah.
Super easy.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your Monday.
Live from WOWT, this is a First Alert 6 weather day.
Good Monday morning, everybody. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Hartley. It is a First Alert weather day here at First Alert 6. Let's get an update on that forecast today with Rusty Lord.
Yeah, a lot to talk about here with this one, and we got to focus after 4 o'clock. The potential there for stronger storms developing after 4. The reason we made it a First Alert weather day is because of the hail, wind, and tornado threat from the storms that get going after 4 o'clock. Doesn't mean we all get storms right at 4, but 4 is the earliest, and then there's just more and more on the map as we go through the course of the evening. So last night's round continues to move off towards the east, clearing the way for the next batch of energy to build to our southwest and move in. And you can see there's not too much happening right now, but there could be a couple little sprinkles left on the map. The storms we get don't actually develop here. They'll move in from the southwest, and that's where the energy comes from. You can see a 2 out of 5 on the scale for severe storms after 4 o'clock, a little greater risk down to the south. But again, hail, wind, and a couple of tornadoes, all possible from any storm after 4 o'clock. So pay attention. Let's send it over to Jarrett with an update on a crash.
This is 96th and Giles where we have this crash. First alert to delays as you're heading southbound, approaching this intersection in particular is where we've been seeing the impact. So give any crews who may be working that scene plenty of room as you're driving near there, and be prepared for delays southbound. Looking a little bit better at 480 that had some delays as you are heading over the river, but in Council Bluffs we are looking at Highway 92 near Harry Langdon right around Lewis Central with some pretty sizable delays showing up in the early going, and of course a little slow on I-80 in either direction, that construction zone, and the JFK heading northbound toward I-80. Watch for slick spots. Aaron.
Well, that breaking news this morning. One person is in the hospital after a crash. This happened near 38th and Maple just before midnight. We're told the victim's injuries are considered to be not life-threatening.
Well, it is 7:28, and we are back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.